Hey, welcome to my newest Festa 4 submission, the graphing panel. This is version 1.2. The graphing panel lets you graph any sort of data in the world and to take a look at it. You can perform graphs on any number of traces or data points and take a look at them real time. Additionally, the graph will serialize that data into a CSV string, which you can then save to a file or shoot over WebSockets to external applications for further graphing. I'm using this in Neos for lots of science, research, and education purposes to take a look at what's going on inside headsets and hand movements and eye movements, etc. and stuff like that. I'll show you how this all works and hopefully you find it's cool. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Let's hop over here into Smooth POV and turn and face the graph panel. The graph panel has two sides. It has the left side, which is for configuring what graph properties you'd like to see, and on the right side for the visual result, which is the graph lines as shown. I'll go through the configuration first. To start with, you have the max and minimum, which define the top and bottom bounds of your graph. Next, we have the update rate, which is how often we should pull a value from your references here. Below that, we have points, which is how many points we should store across the graph. And then the last one here is the updating user, and this is the user responsible for pulling that data. If there is no user set here, you'll see it is red and that nothing happens. Let's start by graphing a simple float. To do that, we'll hit the Add Float button, and you can see here that we have just a line going across it, and that's because the value is 0, so it just goes across on the 0 line here. Let's go ahead and get some data to log. To do this, I'm going to just quickly set up a panner 1D using an empty object. So we'll go to Attach Component, Data Value Field Float, and then Attach Component, Transform Drivers, Panner 1D. We'll target the value of the value field into the target of the panner 1D. We'll set the speed to 4. We'll enable ping pong, and then we'll grab this value and drop it into the graph. As this is only going up to 1, we'll need to lower our minimum maximums such that we see an actual trace. Additionally, we'll need to set that user like I said at the beginning. Now you'll see our graph going up and down. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the speed here a little bit. And now you'll see that we get a smooth up and down triangle. Let's shake things up a little bit and add a float 3. And for that, we'll add a value field float 3. Float 3. And also a panner float 3 or panner 3D. We can drop this in here and start it going. So I'm going to set the first value here to the same as our previous one. So we'll do 1 and 1. Here I'm going to set this to maybe 10 and 2. And then here we'll go to 3 and 20. And then I'll go ahead and enable ping pong. We'll grab this value and put it into our float 3 line. In our float 3 line, we need to specify what index in the float 3 we're after. Are we after the X, Y, or Z? That is a 0, 1, or 2 in that column there. So as an example here, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the floats. And then I'm going to leave that as is, and I'm going to add another float 3, drop this in and set it to 1. Drop this in and set it to 2. And now I can change the colors here. So we'll go pink and blue. We need to adjust our bounds because we're going up to 10 and 20 here. So we'll set our maximum to be 20 and we'll leave our minimum as 0. Now you can see that we've got these triangles as multiple graphs are going up and down. In addition to the values we've already expressed all the way up to the index column, we'll serve a label, which is useful if you forget what any individual line is, an offset, which allows you to move a line up and down. So as an example here, the green line is at the bottom here, but I can offset, say, that by 10, and you'll see that the green line jumps up 10 places to be up here. There's also a gain field, which is just a multiplicative effect on top of that. So if I set it to 2, it will make that graph go up to 2 times its current value. which is useful for like really small values. Additionally, we have a raw column, a velocity or acceleration. So velocity, if I set this to velocity, it will show the velocity of a particular number, and if I set it to this, it will show the acceleration of each number. With some basic properties out of the way, let's see how we can use this for more scientific stuff. If I go ahead and inspect my hand, I can graph the rotation of my hand. If we add a FloatQ, we can drop in the rotation of my hand, and we'll do that 3 times so that we can get each of those. So 0, 1, 2. And again, pink, and hey, maybe red this time. And now you can see that we've got values which change when I change stuff about my avatar. So if I do a smooth rotate, you'll see things going up and down there. Let's adjust our values down a little bit. Looks like we're not going above 20, but we are going below. So we'll go to 10 and -10. There we go, much better. Oh, we're actually going above that. Okay, let's do this. So we do 50, -50. That'll probably work. There we go, much better. So now we've got smoother data that shows my hand rotating in 3 directions. We can also go here and graph the velocity of these, which will go to quite high if I'm wiggling my hand. And for that result, you might want to turn the gain down. So if we change the gain down to, say, 0.1, then you'll see much more reasonable velocity figures for normal activity. You can delete lines like this, and you can clear the user like that. That's all there is really to it. I hope you enjoy it. It can be used for a lot of graphing and scientific reasons, like I said. I myself are using it to graph the rotation of players' eyeballs compared to a target position, so we can check that they are locking onto a target position correctly, and then we can do eye exams using that data. If you have any questions, do let me know, and I'll get back to you. Bye-bye.